Hello friends and welcome back. I am Enterprise Architecture and we are back here playing Oceanblock 2 in Minecraft. Last episode we finished out a lot of the quest lines here for the second major stage of quests, but we still have a few last things to do to completely close out this section. So with no further ado, let's dive right in. Well, maybe a little further ado here. Between episodes, I had done a few more things around our base just to make this work a little better for us. One of those things was to make an engineer's skyhook. This is relatively simple. It's from Immersive Engineering. You just have to make a couple of wooden grips, which are just treated sticks and copper, and then some steel and an iron mechanical component. So that's how you make a skyhook. Now, the skyhook allows you to grab any cable that you've set up. In this case, I've actually set up steel cables rather than the normal power cables around the base so that we can start moving around really quickly and easily. So if I click on this, right click on it, I can now grind my way around the entire base. And even I set up some things all the way to go to this castle over here in the distance. Now, we haven't explored that castle yet, but that's going to be a future adventure. I built a bunch of these balloons, which are also from Immersive Engineering. It's just tough fabric, a torch, and a piece of treated wood slab. And to those, I can attach these structural cable connectors. Again, steel and just a steel rod. And that allows me to make floating balloons. Now, to place those randomly places in the air, I made a couple of angel blocks here. And those just need some feathers, obsidian, and some gold ingots. Easy enough with our new feather farm that we have now set up using our chicken seeds. That was, what, 2 episodes ago that we started doing that with Mystical Ag? Anyway, so now we have a really quick and easy way to get around our base. And you can also see right here in between episodes, whoop, I fell into the water. That's the only problem with these is occasionally you fall off if you let go at the wrong place. But I wanted to show off that we started getting a bunch of solar compressors from Pneumaticraft in our various drops. Whenever I get those airdrops that are coming in, I've gotten 3 of these so far. And as you can see here, you can't actually craft them. The only place that you can get these apparently is from those airdrops. So like I said, I've been really lucky and I've got 3, and that has been making pretty much all of the pressure that I have needed for my whole base. I don't think I'll even need the powered compressor anymore. So we can get around our base now very, very rapidly. We're getting pressure coming in. One other thing I wanted to show here, the skyhook can be upgraded. If you take it over to an engineer's table, you can drop this in instead of our blueprint here. And you can see I've made ourselves a high torque motor. That's really simple. Steel rod, steel mechanical components, LV wire coils, and then electronic components which are made with our normal engineer's blueprint for various items. And we just need some nether quartz, treated wood slab, redstone, and of course electrum wire, which is just made from electrum ingots in a press or what have you. I actually went ahead and set up a metal press from Immersive Engineering as well. You all have seen me do that multi-block 1,000 times. If you don't already know, it's one of the first ones you can make. And again, it's just going to be some redstone engineering blocks, steel scaffolding, a piston, some heavy engineering blocks, and conveyor belts. So we put that together, whack it with a hammer, and that makes our metal press. That's what we've got right over there. And here it is up close and personal. This is just going off of our main power supply here from our thermoelectric generators that we set down, also from Immersive Engineering. So this can just make everything that we need. With our extracting conveyor belt, we're just going to pull stuff out. If you watch my Techopolis 3 playthrough or any of the others, we've done this so many times. I've also made a Bibliocraft shelf, and that allows me just to easily store our molds here that we're going to be using. So we can swap those in and out from here. That's a really nice way of doing that. And similarly, the blueprints that I was just showing you, there's also a blueprint storage system over here that we've got. I'm just going to hop over real fast to teleport. You can see that we do have blueprint storage here from Immersive Engineering using our blueprint shelf. You can just throw your blueprints in there. I think this kind of really adds to the sort of pirate feel of the base that I was kind of setting up here. I really like this. I think this works real well. Or maybe Batman, if you watch the Tim Burton one for the 90s, one of my all-time favorites. All right. So we have that going, and I think this just made my base work a little bit better. So everything is set up and going. I made a few more of our mechanism machines as well, just the basic smelter and things like that. Again, from Mechanism, if you aren't familiar, it's one of the best mods around. It's been around forever, but I made the smelter, and that's really quick and easy in this pack. We already had a bunch of steel casings from drops, but even if we didn't, we can make that with osmium and steel and glass. and then literally just more glass, basic control circuits, and that makes our energized smelter. So I think those are all of the things I've done in between episodes, aside from setting up a few new plants that I am growing over here, but we'll come back to that at a later time. One other thing I did between episodes, I replaced my Just Dire Things breaker with the auto breaker from Actually Additions. We can get that real easy by lasering up some coal here to make our void crystals. And then the basic coil is really simple. We take some redstone and laser that to make Restonia. We picked up a bunch of black quartz as well along the way. That was all in the nether, so we didn't have to worry about that. But you can also sluice that out of netherrack in a blazing mesh. I don't believe we've upgraded to the blazing mesh yet, but it's certainly on our list of things to do in the near future. So that allows us to have a block breaker that never needs to use durability. It also doesn't need any power as far as I can tell. So that's a really easy way to break blocks, and you can get that as soon as you have lasers available. So just something to keep an eye out for. Right now, the one thing that we need to do here is make up a bunch of Blazegold. So I have here our Just Dire Things goo, and I keep falling off of that. We are going to put down some blocks of gold on it, and that's going to start converting into our Blazegold. Let's see if I can get this last block on top. Yes, I can. So once this turns into Blazegold, I should be able then to start making up our Blazegold ingots, and we need that for these last few Steaming Ahead quests over here. We need to make at least a Blazegold chest plate. I don't think we are going to do anything with that because we have better Pneumaticraft armor now anyway, so we're going to hold on to that. It also makes me a little grumpy that we made all of the robes from Ars Nouveau, since this Pneumaticraft armor is apparently what we're going to be forced to use for the foreseeable future. There's also over here the soul flowers from Oritech. We can use those to generate souls. I only have done a little research on this. I know almost nothing about Oritech, but I believe that's part of the system that you can use for the auto crafting, or excuse me, for the crafting of enchantments. So we might come back to this later, but the only other required quest line is going to be these three over here, and that's what we're going to try and get done, which involves using other pieces of Oritech, including the centrifuge. So first things first, chest plates got to get done. So let's just hang out for a second here. All of these are now complete. We're going to break those in bulk. We are going to hitch a ride over here and go over to our smelter that I was just mentioning. Let's grab this one. Here we go. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time, a little bit of trouble to get going here on this, but I promise once you do, it's worth it. There we go. Now we're zipping along. We're going to go over here to the smelter that I just mentioned and climb down here. That hissing was, of course, our boots absorbing the energy of the blow instead of taking damage, and so that just uses a little bit of pressure. The energized smelter should crank these out very, very rapidly for us. Blazegold ingots are done. We can go ahead and make up that chest plate, get credit for it. And there we go. Now that is complete, and we can collect our reward, an extinguish upgrade. I think that's to keep it from catching on fire. We'll just throw that in with the other upgrades here because we don't really need that right now. We have a bunch of upgrades, but not really critical for what we're doing. All right, so the last couple of things here, we apparently need to make snow. So let's grab our polymorphic catalyst. Do we still have some of that laying around? Polymorphic? No, it looks like we're gonna have to make some. So, oh, it looks like we are missing our, what is it, netherwort? We have plenty of netherwort on hand because I have a netherwort farm, or at least my cloche used to have a lot of netherwort in it. There we go. Now we can put that there. We can grab our bucket up. We can go over here to our little area that we have been previously dumping things into just for this sort of transformation. There is our polymorphic fluid. And now we needed to grab an ice block. So I thought we had some ice on hand somewhere. Let's just double check. If not, then we have a really easy solution here. We can go over to our blaze block here. We can throw down some water on top of this, and over time, this should then turn into ice. And I believe the snow recipe here is literally just pieces of ice. Is that right? Yeah, it's just regular ice. So the one thing that we do need is to grab up our icebreaker so that we can indeed use Silk Touch to break that. Give me that ice block, and now we can take this over to our polymorphic fluid and throw this in here. And I believe we do need to have, yes, a shovel to break that into snowballs, and then the snowballs can be turned into snow. There we go, and we get credit for that quest. Apparently we can use this for something. It didn't say what, it just hinted that it might be useful for something. I'm not sure exactly what can I use it to create. Who knows, because Pack, you didn't tell me what we're going to use it to create, but we have it, and I guess that counts somewhere. We're just going to dump these off in here though, because we don't really need it right now. All right, great. So this section is done for most intents and purposes here. I'm not going to worry about the soul flowers right now, although we could do this, but we have to do some occultism stuff to get there, and that's just not worth it to me. Instead, we are going to work on our centrifuge here next. I believe this should be easy enough for us to make. Let's go over here and take a look. I think we already did the pulverizer, so let's remove that. Centrifuge requires a few items that we can easily make. Glass bottles we've got on hand. The adamant we learned before we can just make with nickel and diamond. There is actually probably a better way if we use alloying, but because we're here, I'm just going to do it the slow way, or excuse me, the expensive way, let's say. We have some motors that we made previously, so we've got extras of those. So the only thing remaining here is going to be our reinforced plating. Let's go ahead and make up some copper reinforced plating. For that, we need more Invar. Okay, so Invar is just nickel and iron, so that should be easy enough for us. We can now do that in the alloy smelter, which might be a little faster. So let's grab up some nickel here. Oh, we only have 9 pieces left. All right, well, that's also a thing that we will resolve while we are out and about. Let's grab up some nickel from our drawers here. We are going to go over to our tempered glass jar that is doing the bulk crafting. Throw in all of our nickel clusters there, and you see this is going to do a set of 9 at a time to make a whole block of nickel. We will break down the blocks of iron that we had made later, and now we have more iron than we know what to do with. That's wonderful. Grab back up our skyhook, and we can go over to our other platform here and get that alloying. All right, so quick, I love it. Throw in here our nickel and our iron, and this should start cooking up. It's only using a basic capacitor. We probably should upgrade that here in the near future, but we're not going to worry about that yet. What do we need to get to a tier 2? Energetic alloy we already have, and coal dust, which we have not made. All right, our Invar is all done, so we can now make our copper reinforced plating. Note that if you do have the plastic sheets available, we're not there yet, but we will be soon. We can make these a lot more efficiently, but for now, we're just going to make a couple up of the regular ones. Okay, great. So now all we are missing is elite control circuits. For that, we're going to need reinforced alloy. For that, we are going to need some diamond, which we are going to need to enrich. So let's go back to where we just were and grab that up. We're going to grab some of our alloys that we had made. Oh, you know what? We had not made that up yet, had we? Okay, that's going to be an issue. So we're going to need some advanced control circuits. For that, we're going to need some infused alloy. That is, of course, just copper and redstone. So we're going to also take some copper with us. There we go. And we've got a bunch of redstone that I already put over there and enriched. So I think we should then be able to make all of the pieces of this without too much trouble. And because we already got the basic control circuits here. And then, yeah, we are going to need the reinforced alloy, which we make with the redstone. So all of those things we can easily make. So let's zip back over and get those alloying. All right, so first things first, enriching factory. We're going to throw our diamond in here, and that turns our diamond into enriched diamond. That's good. The infusing factory is how we're going to transform our copper. So let's go ahead and put 16 copper in here, and it's going to be 20 per 20 units. So I believe 320 should be plenty to finish off this entire stack. So yeah. Oh, you know what? It's only 10 per. That's even better. Okay, so we'll put that all in there. We will go ahead and auto sort so that we can do 3 at once, and this should go a little bit quicker for us. There is our enriched diamond, and this is, again, what we are going to be using here to be able to do our enrichment. And it's not showing that, but I promise that is indeed how we do enrichment in here. All right, we are finished making our reinforced alloy here with our infused alloy. That was easy enough for us. So now all we have to do is make each tier of these circuits. We're going to make up a pair of advanced control circuits. There we go, easy enough. And then we can take those and our reinforced alloy and turn these into the elite control circuits. Perfect, just like that. Making all sorts of progress. Okay, there is our centrifuge now done. Now, I believe we are going to need some basic machine cores to be able to upgrade that. What? Traders, what are you doing here? Hello, you're a long way from home, my friend. It looks like I can give you some emeralds to get an onyx, which we might need for iron gems later, and an artisan scroll from amulet protection. Okay. Of the things you have, those are the most valuable to me, but I don't really need any of them. How many emeralds do we have on hand? We have 9 there, and I'm sure we can make up a bunch if we go ahead and cook these up real fast here. Let's put it in the tempered glass jar with the blue magma block. All right, we'll go ahead and buy these up. Give me your onyx real quick and give me the artisan scroll. Okay, again, we haven't gotten into onyx gems at all. I've slowly been collecting up various items from that mod over here, but it's not a priority for us at this juncture, but we do have it in case we need it. Okay, so yes, that is the case. All right, so what were we doing? We were setting up our centrifuge. I'm just gonna leave you all alone. Hello. And we're going to come over here to our very crowded Oritech setup here. I think we can squeeze this in here, and we should be able to put a basic machine core on top. The Oritech automation, the animation, excuse me, they're just so neat. Okay, so now we have the centrifuge. That completes this quest, and we get swimming slippers. Swimming slippers. Okay, great. I'm sure that's useful for something. Apparently it can help us swim. Well, we'll worry about that later. So now that we have that, we can start separating things out, right? And that means we need to make carbon fiber. So carbon fiber, we can do with cop graphite dust, which remember from Immersive Engineering, but we're not going to waste time on that. We are going to use either charcoal dust or coal dust. And I believe the easiest way to do that is to just use the pulverizer from Oritech that we have made to be able to crush down some coal that we've already got. So let's hop off here. We're going to come over here to our storage array, and in the back here, I do have some coal dust just waiting for us, excuse me, coal pieces just waiting for us, and that we are going to then turn into dust. Come back over here. Okay, and here is our pulverizer down at the bottom here. This is going to start pulverizing really, really rapidly. While that is going, I am almost out of steel, so I have been cooking up some coal coke here to make these coal coke gems, and it looks like this this tank did not get the fluid from the bottom of that. Is that because I need... Oh, I am missing a fluid pipe. I think that's the case. So can we pull out of there? There we go. Okay, so creosote oil is draining out now, and that's going to continue to make our coal coke for us. And that means we also need to grab up just a bit of iron, and we're going to put that in with the other coal coke and make steel in our foundry here. So let's put all of this together with our coal coke, and slowly but surely this will then turn into our steel. There aren't really a lot of ways to make steel in this, although you would expect there to be more. Alloying is the main way. I believe, no, we can't even melt it down in our productive metalworks. So this is really it. We are really stuck with Oritech for a lot of these items. But now that we have coal dust, let me just get one more piece of coal dust, and then we will start spinning that in the centrifuge. Okay, centrifuge, take this, and that will then turn into our carbon fiber. Perfect. All right, so the carbon fiber strands we are going to then use to make our machine fluid add-on. Allows for fluid processing, and we can put that onto this block here of our centrifuge when we get enough. I think that's going to be enough for us to start with. So let's gather this up real quick, go back to our base. I just love it. I absolutely love it. I think the skyhook is one of the coolest things in here. All right, now we should be able to make this machine fluid add-on. We already had the silicon, which of course we've talked about before. That is just made by smelting our quartz dust. We can also do that with item casting for molten quartz, no problem there. And then electrum we've already talked about, and we have fluid pipes on hand. Okay, great. So with this, we should then be able to spin our fluids. Now, to spin our fluids, we are going to, ooh, machine efficiency add-on. Okay, that's gonna be helpful. The fluids that we're gonna spin here, I believe, is going to be to make our biopolymer. And for that, we are going to need water and we're going to need packed wheat. Now, packed wheat we can make from just regular wheat in a crafting grid, so we're going to do that to start. And one of the crops, that I had been growing in our garden cloche is, conveniently enough, going to be wheat here. Who is attacking me? What's going on? Hey, it's not my fault. I have nothing to do with that dude drowning, okay? It's his own fault. I didn't touch him. All right, so let's put our machine fluid add-on on this side. There we go. We are being spat at. Here is our wheat that we have been gathering up. And again, just to give an overview here, our garden cloche, we have one with wheat, we have one with canola, and we have one with industrial hemp, because those are the things we are tending to need most regularly. We're going to take our wheat and we're going to turn that into packed wheat. All of that goes into the machine centrifuge here, just like that, but nothing is going to happen until we start to put water into it. So we're probably just going to bucket a bit of water at a time into this, because we don't want this to be 100% automated. Those llamas are really, really ticking me off at this point, but unfortunately I don't have the ability to calm a llama down. So let's get this going here. And now you can see that this is now making our raw biopolymer. Apparently that turns into weed killer as well, but we are going to use this with more water to make plastic sheets. Now, if we had mineral slurry, we could make double the amount, but I don't think mineral slurries are anywhere near us right now because we need liquid sulfuric acid to do that, and honestly, we just don't have access to that. All right, so we're going to wait for our biopolymer to finish up here, and then we're going to run this through a second time, and that is, of course, going to get us our plastic. All right, and there are our plastic sheets. That is now done, and that means we are now complete with that section. Now, these plastic sheets are going to be really important here for a variety of other things in Oritech. I think this is going to be the fundamental unit for making all of our various circuits and all these additional add-ons that we're going to need here. So this is going to be really, really useful. We're also going to be using it for our pneumaticraft as well. So just keep in mind, I think this is going to replace the standard HDPE sheets that we all know and love. So it's going to be, we're going to have to make a lot of this, I think, as we move through the pack. Well, we are slowly but surely making progress through this pack. But for now, we're going to call that the end of this episode. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye, friends.